We encounter intercultural spaces on a daily basis. However, we are blind to the history of how these spaces have been shaped. As such, I will be analysing 6 spaces that I see on a daily basis within my home suburb of Concord. I'll be linking these spaces to topics learned in class. Hi, my name is Ellis Bellos and I'm of Greek heritage, but was born in Sydney. The neighbourhood I live in is called Concord, which is based within the inner west, approximately 20 minutes from the city. I've lived in this area since I was born. It's a beautiful suburb with lots of parks and welcoming people of all backgrounds and cultures. Concord takes a name from Concord, Massachusetts in USA, which was the site of the Battle of Concord, one of the first military engagements of the American Revolutionary War in 1775 to 1778. Some historians believe the Sydney suburb was named Concord to encourage peaceful attitudes between soldiers and settlers. These days, Concord is a diverse place of different cultures and religions, but is predominantly of Italian heritage. The first intercultural space I'll be looking at is known as Majors Bay Road Shopping Village. With an attractive leafy streetscape, it is positioned as one of Sydney's best alfresco eat streets, with many restaurants and cafes to suit all tastes, including Japanese, French, Italian, Thai, and South American. As such, to the vast variety of different restaurants and cuisines, we can identify the cultural diversity in the area and strip of shops, portraying the multicultural suburb I'm blessed to be in. Because I've been going to these strip of shops my whole life, I felt very welcome and comfortable. I find, however, since COVID, there's hostility in the way people interact with one another walking down the street. This change in culture and attitude is not only within the suburb, but on a global scale. The strip of shops also resembles the concept of social imperialism, as we can see through its history. The strip was created in 1827 and was designed to grant shops and land for retired British military men, thus exemplifying the imposition of one dominant community enforcing its own culture on a non-dominant native one, such as the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. The second intercultural space near me is called Bayview Park. This park has a playground, gym equipment, ferry wharf and boat ramp, and most recently trying to put up nets to make it a swimmable zone. However, historically, Bayview Park Ferry Wharf and the namesake public park located adjacent to it is built upon the site of the historical Burwood Ferry Wharf, which provided vital transport links from the region to Parramatta and the CBD. In the early 19th century, Burwood Wharf is most significant for its landing site of HMS Buffalo on the 26th of February 1840, which carried 58 patriot exiles who fought against British colonialists in the Lower Canada Rebellion. As seen through the park's history, we can portray its cultural imperialism through the creation of the wharf and the memorial stone placed to commemorate the site of the 1840 landing of HMS Buffalo. These days, it is a very welcoming and open public area for anyone to use it, no matter the culture or background or age. When walking around this area, people would polite and would say hello with a smile whilst walking past you. The third space I'm going to talk about is St. Luke's Anglican Church. St. Luke's Concord is a historic church with origins that go back to the beginning of the white settlement. The Concord area was halfway between the first settlement at Sydney Cove and the first farming area at Parramatta. Currently, this church is a warm and welcoming place, open for everyone. Although I'm Greek Orthodox by religion, they welcomed me in for a chat. In this discussion, the priest told me that the church was open every day and I could come and light a candle whenever I wanted. However, the over-politeness made me feel a bit uncomfortable, as I didn't know if there was any lies behind the words he was saying. As such, even though it seemed loving and caring to all, the sad reality is that it is not, as this place lacks cultural diversity and links directly to cultural imperialism. The Anglican Church being created within England exemplifies the notion of cultural imperialism through its transportation to Australia. The white settlers took this land and put their own ideologies and beliefs with it. However, the contradiction to the attitude can be seen through the name of the church, St. Luke, which means bright white light giving, exemplifying the stance of this intercultural space, but a contradiction through its actions over history. My fourth intercultural space around Concord is called Queen Elizabeth Park. Queen Elizabeth Park, formerly known as Concord Park, was renamed to honour Queen Elizabeth II after a visit to Australia in 1954. This park has a playground and hosts many sporting activities such as rugby and soccer. It also shelters a memorial of the men who died in World War II. The name of the park speaks for itself, named after the Queen of England. Cultural imperialism is shown through the use of its name. As an imposing community, the British forcefully changed language and cultures of a less dominant population. Additionally, this park is seen as an intercultural contact zone through its use of the park for recreation. These recreational activities such as soccer and rugby portrays the culture of the suburb and the state we live in. The intercultural zone is a public space open for all. When walking through this park, I saw numerous families gathered in groups enjoying the beauty of nature. Seeing this enabled me to appreciate the freedom and beauty of this country that we live in. The family-friendly environment allows people to feel safe whilst enjoying life's free pleasures. The fifth intercultural space I've chosen is called Mortlake Public School. From kindergarten to year 6, I attended this primary school. This school aims to foster independence and encourage students to become responsible for their own behaviour and learning. This is embodied through their motto, Excel by Effort, and is supported by a range of programs which help students develop their full potential. This school had approximately 300 students and is relatively small in size, however, is very diverse in nature, with nationalities and backgrounds coming from across the globe. Speaking to my old principal, she told me that they had students with backgrounds from Asia, Europe, and Africa, demonstrating the multiculturalism portrayed in this suburb of Concord. The principal told me they raised both the Australian flag and the Aboriginal flag every day before school, to make students take pride and acknowledge not only the Australian flag but also the Aboriginal flag. This school is heavily gated and secured place for the protection of the kids, however, it is a friendly environment with a warm, loving feel to it. Through self-reflection, its teaching styles and methods enabled me to learn the fundamentals of life and helped me become who I am today. Bushell's Pty Ltd bought land in Concord in the mid-1950s. Approximately 300 men and women were employed by the company at Concord. Their work consists mainly of roasting and manufacturing of ground and instant coffee, the production of coffee essence, and the blending and packing of tea and tea bags. This place is still here to this day, with a strong, pleasant roasted coffee smell almost every morning. However, in recent times there has been development approval for it to be knocked down and apartments to be put up instead. Today when walking past this factory you see barbed wire fences and barely any cars or workers, making it seem almost a bit like a prison, giving the feeling of discomfort and paranoia. This factory upbringing in the 1960s marks the age in history known as consumerism, where large factory plants were created for mass production. This also marks social imperialism through ideologies created by the Western culture, concepts such as materialism and consumerism.